Almost there, and we're there.
What's going on, y'all?
Hey.
It's a little later than normal, but we in this thing.
Yes.
It's your boy Los.
And this is Katrina.
Bringing y'all a special episode, man, dealing with these prison conditions.
Yes.
As everybody been seeing on social media, there's been a lot going on, specifically with the lawsuit that was settled with Miami Correctional Facility and, scores of prisoners due to inhumane and cruel and unusual conditions, deliberate indifference, all type of stuff going on. But before we get into that, man, let me get this out the way so we can tackle this, because this is a serious topic. And I know there's varying opinions about it. I've been reading all type of comebacks that people been saying about what they've been seeing pertaining to these lawsuits and everything else.
Yeah.
Just let me get this disclaimer out the way. This podcast is a platform for conversation, education, and community dialogue. The views expressed by hosts and guests are their own and do not represent any organization, group, or institution. We do not promote violence, illegal activity, or harm of any kind. Our discussions may include difficult or controversial topics, but our goal is understanding, accountability, and change. We ask our audience to engage respectfully. Allegations, accusations, or naming of suspects without verified information will not be allowed. This space exists to amplify voices, honor those impacted, and work toward unity and solutions in our community. Sandbox or cell blocks, y'all. We on this thing.
Yes.
So, go ahead.
First thing I want to say is we are now live on our page. Yes.
About time, God.
I know, right?
Been a month, 2 months.
Man, I think it's been a little. I think it's actually earlier than what they said. They said like 90 days, and we started in March?
It's probably been about 2 months, month and a half, 2 months. Yeah.
So, I wanted to read something out of Kwame's book so we can just have an idea of what people feel like after they're off the shoe.
Before you do that, you got to introduce the book, the name, and yeah.
I'm sorry, I just think everybody read it.
No.
So, his book is called Man's Search for Meaning.
What?
By what?
No, Man's Search for Meaning is Viktor Frankl. Yeah.
It is My Search for Answers, Truth, and Meaning. Sorry, okay. I just read that book, Frankl. Let's see. Now you done made me lose it, Lowe's. You can get it on Amazon. And I think he actually read a couple of his chapters on YouTube. So you can be able to do that too on his personal YouTube channel, Kwame Shakur. Now can I read it?
Rock out.
I don't know why I listened to you. Okay. So this is when he just came off set. It says, it took me about 6 months to fully adjust to being around people again. The 3 years I spent in solitary confinement on the SHU, besides the 35 days I was in general population, had greatly affected me psychologically, emotionally, and socially. I wasn't the same person. I wasn't the same person I was before enduring this form of torture. It's a hidden, unseen form of torture. I remember feeling a lot of social anxiety coming out of the cell during our recs and showers. When I found myself talking to someone, I remember for the longest feeling so self-conscious. It's hard to fully capture the full disassociation that I felt during those social interactions. The very act of talking to someone felt as if it was a third person witnessing the conversation as it occurred. Every word that came out of my mouth, I felt a strange disassociation. Sorry. I had never felt this unity between my voice and my body. I mean, I'd be associating with people throughout my entire life, but never had I felt as if my body and voice weren't deriving from the same self-consciousness. Crazy. I would keep going on, but y'all get the book and y'all can read it.
Yeah. So
I mean, it just shows how people feel after they come out of SEG for so long. And I'm sure you could talk about that.
I mean, social isolation, period, is going to affect everybody differently, right? Some people are introverted, so they might not be as affected as others. But right now, like, we talking about specific conditions in prison where prisons are being locked down for whatever the reasons are, for extended periods. And you talking about having 2 men in the cell. Right now we talking about Miami Correctional specifically, right? 2 men in the cell, 24 hours a day, getting a shower. It's supposed to be 2 to 3 times a week. But when I was there and we was on lockdown, because if they didn't have the staff, sometimes you might get your shower every 7 to 8 days, right?
What?
Yeah, 7 to 8 days, right? And you in the cell with another man until they open that door for that shower. That's the only time you get any movement. Being that we are wired to be social creatures, right? Like this is something that's going to have an effect. Yeah. And then you start talking about the other conditions. This is just a general lockdown that I'm describing. Mm-hmm. When you start talking about the conditions that the people in that lawsuit was in, like Anthony Parrish, whose stuff I posted on my page and posted on the Sandbox page, right? When you start talking about those conditions, being put in the cell without lights, without intercom, where if you had a medical issue, you could get help, without windows. Like what do you put in here? A human, a creature? What are you putting in here? What do you expect to come out of here after however long you have them in there? You see what I'm saying? And yeah, I get it. Prison ain't supposed to be pleasant, man. I did 29 years, and I agree with that. Prison shouldn't be pleasant. It should be a deterrent effect. Mm-hmm. It should be rehabilitative. But in the process of this, it does not mean that the system, the Department of Correction, or corruption, as I like to call it,
you're right,
has carte blanche to commit criminal acts in the name of justice or rehabilitation, because that's what these acts were. They were criminal. You putting a man in here, or men, because it wasn't just one. They settled this lawsuit with scores of prisoners, right? So you put men in cells without lights, without access to help if they needed it, without windows, and you just stuffing them in there. Hell, some of these cells didn't even have running water. You know what I'm saying? And you just put them in there, and the CO's walking by, and you could be trying to get their attention. And if they don't want to respond, they don't have to. And then you can't do nothing but wait on another CO and hope to God that they give you some attention, right? So if you got a medical issue, you just hit. You got to kick on the door to get attention. That might irritate them. So now they coming with the mace. So now they finna spray your ass. Now you finna go through all this other stuff. Man, this is crazy. So you got to go through all this just to get attention. Keep in mind, you've been sentenced to whatever you've been sentenced to. So you've been found guilty of something, justifiably so or not, right? Because we know a lot of people in here are innocent. Like my man LB, we just had him on here the week before last.
Yeah.
Right? So you got innocent people here enduring conditions that they have to endure on top of being in here wrongfully convicted.
Right.
Right. So you talking about basically a madhouse.
Yeah.
And now you finna send these people that you doing this to back to society, because at some point, the statistics say 95% of all prisoners will hit that block again. 95.
You mean hit the block? What you mean?
Be released, Katrina.
Listen,
I'm just saying, be released.
green. So I'm gonna ask the questions other people may ask to. You know what? Just going on.
Yeah, you got it. I answered your question, little green woman. But yeah, so 9 out of 10 gonna hit the streets again, right? So now it's about what type of person do you want hitting these streets? You know what I'm saying? You got guys in here that's, man, I've been in every SEG unit you can think of in every condition, stripped down, naked in the cell with no sleeping material, the air on full blast, no running water. Hell, I was going through this in the juvenile center. No running water, no lights, no bed frame, and then some dunts, some briefs.
They have a SEG unit in the juvenile.
And this is the conditions I was in when I was in SEG decades ago, right? You know what I'm saying? Talking 97, 96, 97. But I'm just saying that to say the conditions that you putting a juvenile in, and then you do the same thing with these adult men in prison. You not preparing them to be the best version of themselves when they are released, right? You are bringing out the worst in them. You are intentionally doing so, I believe. You know what I'm saying? Or at the very least, right? You are indifferent to how these conditions affect these men, right? You really just don't care one way or the other. But that's because right now everything is so impersonal. You know what I'm saying? You haven't had to deal with one of these dudes who've been released after 10, 12 years in prison, 3-4 years in SEG, 6 months to a year living in the worst conditions you can think of, and the frame of mind that he's developed as a result of it. You haven't had to encounter that out there. Somebody that's mad at the world because nobody gave a fuck about it while he was going through what he was going through.
Yeah.
So I read a comment on one of these posts pertaining to the Miami lawsuit, and somebody said, it's not supposed to be pleasant, and they were convicted for a reason. Now, whatever that means, right? That was the comment. It is what it is, right? That's how
people feel that way.
Somebody also said that, well, the taxpayers are the ones who paid the money. True. So the DOC really didn't get punishment at all to treat these prisoners this way. You see what I'm saying? So if the taxpayers don't want to continue to pay out for lawsuits of negligence, deliberate indifference, cruel and unusual punishment, then the taxpayers might want to start putting some checks and balances in play for the DOC, who's supposed to be rehabilitating these prisoners that's going to be released back into the society that you live in, right? This is a taxpayer problem now. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention to what your prisons are doing to these prisoners. Because these dudes definitely finna hit the streets again. And how they hit the streets is determined by how they did their time. So if you got dudes in here cooped up in cells with no running water for months, I think Miami been on lockdown for 6 months. When I was there, we was locked down for 6 months for COVID.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
But that wasn't justifiable either. But now they've been locked down for 6 months talking about safety and security of the facility.
For what? For what reason? This
safety and security of the facility. They're talking about, like, I'm assuming, violence, because that's normally how it starts, right? But during this lockdown, man, you have 4 deaths, dozens of stabbings, right? How is that conducive to the safety and security of a facility when you got dudes in here frustrated about not being able to move?
Absolutely.
Right? And then they got all day. This is a max camp. And then you got these ICE detainees on the other side of the facility taking most of the resources and attention. So what's going on with the Indiana prisoners is kind of relegated to the back. You know what I'm saying? It's the whole. It's just a whole. It's just a whole cesspool at Miami.
Absolutely. I want to give some statistics that I was looking at while you was talking, because I was interested in this. But it says approximately 50% of all prison suicides occur in solitary confinement.
Yeah.
That's half. Like, if they have 8,000 people, 4,000 people are going to commit suicide in solitary confinement. That's crazy.
The ones that would commit suicide, half would do it in SEG.
Yeah. And then it also talks about being it makes them physically sick, which is going to cost taxpayers more money because they're going to be going to the nurses or going to the hospitals. And so crazy.
Yes. So look, SEG is like shit, it's like a grinding stone, man. Like it's like a grinding stone. Every day you spend in SEG. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we'll get to that comment later. But every day you spend in SEG, you find yourself battling something internal, right? You trying to make sure you can maintain that emotional stability. You trying to make sure that you can maintain your awareness, because sometimes you can lose touch with reality in SEG. You know what I'm saying? Like when all you have to deal with is yourself. I spent years in SEG. It can work for you or against you. Sometimes it cuts both ways. Like it kind of made me extremely aggressive, but I was self-aware at the same time. So I was aware of my aggressiveness, so I could kind of catch it before it got out of hand, but I couldn't get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? I was temperamental, extremely temperamental, like ready to go at anything, because I was taking offense to everything because I hadn't been really socializing with people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is in the early years of my SEG when I was a teenager. You know, I went to SEG from 16 to 27, right? In SEG. So growing up in SEG, you start developing all type of frailties that you kind of become aware of later. Fast forward that, you go from the SEG conditions to the general population conditions, and on lockdowns in general population, it's like mass segregation. It's like now the facility is one big lockup unit, because in SEG you only get an hour of rec a day, supposed to. Sometimes you don't get that. You get a shower every 2 days, right? In SEG. Well, it's the same thing when the facility's on lockdown. You know what I'm saying? So you dealing with the same conditions. You just got a celly. If you got a celly, if you behind somewhere like the Reformatory at Pendleton or behind the wall at Michigan City, then you by yourself. Now you can still yell over the range and deal with all that, but you still locked down, and that shit frustrates you because you can't move. So when you got all day and you constantly getting poked and prodded with unnecessary conditions justified by using the safety and security of the facility, because that's all they gonna drill in you. Y'all can't do this because of the safety and security of the facility. You lock down safety and security facility. That's a subjective standard, by the way.
Right.
They can argue, well, somebody brought drugs in the prison. Lock it down. Safety security facility, right? As opposed to dealing with the isolated incident.
Exactly.
Right? They use that to turn prisoners against each other. Try to anyway. Right? Well, if you don't like it, then y'all should take it out on the person who caused it. Or you should start becoming rats or informants so we can prevent this type of stuff from happening. But what they really do, some of the weak dudes become rats. But what they really do is it tease ones off, and it amplifies, you know what I'm saying, the chaos that's already in the prison. It turns the prisoner guard, you know what I'm saying, angst. It turns it up. Right now, you really don't like the guards, and in turn, because you're displaying that dislike for the guards display that dislike for you. So it becomes, you know what I'm saying, tick for tack.
Right.
And now you got a chaotic prison environment that is definitely not conducive for safety and security.
Absolutely.
For the guards or the prisoners. It becomes a powder keg. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what you're dealing with in prison.
You mind if I give some more stats?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
I'm gonna talk about
the overall mortality rate for formerly incarcerated people who spent any time in solitary are 24% more likely to die within their first year back in the community. Check this one out, though. This one got me.
24% more likely to die.
I'm sorry, say it again. No, yeah, once they're released. Yeah.
Okay.
In the critical first 2 weeks after release, individuals are 127% more likely to die of an opioid overdose.
Well, what that means is this. So when you going through whatever you're going through in prison, man, you know, sometimes you got access to substances.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to escape, because everybody can't just cope with it, you know what I'm saying, head on, in order to escape or try to deal with, you know what I'm saying, the conditions they got you living in, you indulge, right? And some people coming in there with habits to begin with. So this is really not helping them, you know what I'm saying, with these habits. You just warehousing people, man, and you compounding issues. That's what the DOC does.
Yeah.
Throw them in a box and let them sort it out.
Exactly. Another one, and this is my last one. This is the one that kind of hit me in the forehead. Suicide risk in the first year is 78% higher, while the risk of dying by homicide is 54% higher for those that are released.
Well, that seems like a loaded stat.
Man,
I mean, what I mean by loaded is, so you talking about people with histories, right? So if somebody was in there for violence against a person, right, then I can see them probably being 90% of that, whatever that particular just said is, of those who die homicide type stuff. That's a loaded stat, but I understand what it's trying to say, especially if you come out here full of anger.
That's what I'm getting at. Like,
out here full of anger or become mentally disabled or disturbed as a result of what you went through, then you probably would be out here trying to victimize somebody or trying to make somebody kill you to get it over with.
Right. Right. And to go back, you know, once they get out, they kill somebody. Or, you know, we got to be careful of what we're saying on this before they censor some of our stuff. But no, for real, they will. But once they get out, they do something to get right back in because that's what they used to.
And to do that, you got to victimize somebody too.
Exactly. That's
so
crazy.
It becomes cyclical at some point. You know, then now you got the brother on here asking a question about why does why does it bother some of us at all and break those? It hasn't bothered me in the first overall picture book. Well, brother, I think you might be overstating your stability because at some point, even if it's incremental and you don't recognize the effects of it, like the effects are there of being in SEG. They're there. You might not be aware of how SEG is affecting you. Because I felt like I could do it too. And I just started noticing it after I noticed it. During the process, you wasn't noticing the incremental changes or influences that SEG was having on you. I wasn't until I noticed, like, bam, oh wow, right?
Yeah,
progressive, super temperamental.
Do you feel like everybody that's been in SEG for an extended amount of time has some type of residual effects?
I do. I absolutely. I do too. This is why it shouldn't be allowed for extended periods of time.
Yeah.
Right.
And who's to say what's an long-term person in SEG? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's going to be hard to come up with too.
Well, I mean, the DOC has their own policy about what long-term SEG is. So if it's like 6 months or more, I think now it's considered long-term. When I was in prison, it was 2 years. in the beginning. And so like I told you, I'm from 98 to 2009, I was in SEG. All right. So it was 2 years. And you would get 3 years for one Class A. So like,
what's Class A?
A Class A is the most serious conduct report you can catch. When I was there, they kind of changed some things now, but in the beginning, that's what it was. But yeah, even then, the conditions were bad. Like I hit MCC in 2000, in the beginning of 2000. Maximum Control Complex at Westville. It's Westville's lockup unit. It's a Supermax unit, right? And it smelled like feces, vomit, piss, and mace for the entire duration of my 25 months there. That's what you smelled. And you heard kicking, screaming, and people beating like combs or cups on their sinks and toilets throughout the night, all night. That's just the reality.
But that's a type of torture. Like that's stuff that they do
That's called sensory overload.
Yes, right? I keep going back to exactly what Ben said. How do you guys handle it? How I have met more of you all, and when I say you all, I don't mean that derogatory. I mean those that have been to prison and have been in the SHU for a long time. That you come out here and you're not wanting to choke everybody out, or you know what I'm saying? I don't know how do you do that? Like, any normal person, me? Oh, I'll be done.
What does normal mean?
Normal means most of people are like this. That's the normalcy. I
think normal people don't know what they can endure or deal with until they get put in an pressure.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Very true.
Put you in there. Right. And listen, when I first started doing SEG, it was in juvie. You see what I'm saying? So and even then it was like, all right, I don't want to be in here, but since I have to, let me figure out how to deal with it. So that's how it starts. Right? That's the normal mindset. At least I'm believing so. I don't want to do it, but I have to. So let me try to figure it out. Right. That's juvenile. Lake County Juvenile Center. Isolation. I did 9 months in isolation. 6 months in isolation there. Right.
Can you explain what SEG is like? I mean, we know it's a prison within a prison, but what being in there, what is it? Is it just like, do y'all get a mattress? Are you able to get books? Are you like, describe the
every SEG unit? Listen, every SEG unit is different, but they kind of got the same spectrum of rules. You can have X amount of books, X amount of letters, X amount of pictures, X amount of draw socks, t-shirts. You see what I'm saying? And you don't get any movement. You lock down except for that 1 hour a day. You might not get that depending on the weather or if staff's available. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because they are understaffed in Indiana Department of Correction. So you might not get it all.
How is that 1 hour? What is that like? Is that in a cage? Is it in the open air? Can you?
In a cage. You might be outside, but you're in a cage. But so those are typical SEG conditions, and I can't necessarily, like I said, I don't agree with people being in SEG for extended periods, because I've seen what it does to people who may not be able to deal with it the way that people like myself and others have. Right? I've seen the cutting on themselves, the shoving up things up their penis, the swallowing razors, the slicing their throats, the whole nine, the overdosing on pills with seen it. I seen a dude chew up AAA batteries. Hell, like yeah, so
how you even do that?
Whatever he felt like he needed to do to get the result he wanted. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying conditions in general ain't necessarily said, right? Miami is one of these institutions, kind of like Westville, that really need to be investigated. You know what I'm saying? Like Miami got extreme violence. I got there at 17. Ain't nothing changed since then. In fact, it didn't amplify. 17 to 21, I was there, and then I went to Westville. Miami is messed up, understaffed, over violence. The staff is very indifferent, if not a contributor to the violence that goes on because of their indifference and or bias, right? Like they contribute to a lot of the shit that go on. And that's why when I was reading the information about Anthony Parrish's lawsuit, and I sent that to you,
yeah,
right? The man had to get some sympathy from a damn National Guard because the National Guard saw the conditions he was living in and felt bad. And the National Guard was there when I was there too, you know what I'm saying? Because the COVID had occurred and they were understaffed, so the National Guard was there running the pods. They were running the units. They were doing walks and shit right after I left. So, but this rounds, doing counts and stuff like that. But
the National Guard was?
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, okay, let me explain something, Lois. There's a lot of stuff I don't know.
I know that.
And that I'm gonna ask, and you because you looking aggravated because I'm asking you these questions. You and a lot of people on here may know what you're talking about, but it's a lot of people that's going to be watching on YouTube and listening on Podbean that don't know it. So when I ask you a question, fix your face.
Hey, I'll headbutt you if I was living break your glasses. No, but yeah, that's so the National Guard was there. Yeah, the National Guard, because you right next door to Grissom Air Force Base. You see what I'm saying? Miami Correctional Facility is literally next door to the Air Force Base. So yeah, it's nothing for them to get that kind of assistance. But Westville, right? The conditions of Westville are horrendous. Not necessarily for the reasons that Miami's are horrendous, right? Because Miami's are damn near a death trap. Like you subject to dying here or go crazy. Westville's are you subject to die from disease or just nastiness, right? Rusty water. Man, listen, I was in Westville. We had one toilet that we called the shitter. That means everybody defecates on using this one toilet. Whole unit, right? Whole unit uses this toilet. We got one working shower. Everybody uses this one shower. There's holes in the walls, so there are maggots and water beetles and roaches and everything in this shower. I can't describe it enough for you to see it because it is so disgusting. It's damn near like the Indiana Jones Temple of Doom. If you ever seen that when he was in the tunnels and he put the torch down and looked down. That's how it looks in the showers in the morning times when I was getting up to work out, right? You see shit everywhere. Beetles, bugs, roaches, maggots, whatever, you see it all, right? And then you got mold on the ceiling and rust on the windows, right? This the conditions you living in. And the prison of Westville is considered condemned. So they pay a fine.
People in there?
There's 3,000 people. It's like 3,300 people there, right? Living in these conditions, right? When you get the water and you let it sit for about 5 minutes, all the rust goes to the bottom. You can see it on the bottom.
So the prisons don't have like a standard as far as
this is what we used to ask. Right? Who's doing the health inspections?
Yes.
But they pass the ACA every year.
ACA.
Right? How? American Correctional Association. They passing these little tests or inspections every year. How?
That's
How
crazy.
how the fuck is this healthy for prisoners who finna go home one day? Right? Listen, I had a cough, a chronic cough at Westville. I'm talking about chronic. My entire duration. The moment, right hand of Allah, the moment I got into the parking lot, I haven't coughed since. This is crazy.
Kwame had it since he left prison.
I'm just saying, because of
The same thing. Yeah.
you living in moldy conditions.
Yes.
Westville, one of them. You got all these men in here. The phones don't really work. The COs will get mad for whatever reasons and cut your Wi-Fi off to your tablets, which is the way you communicate with your people. Now I know people on the street gonna be listening to this like Wi-Fi and email, but this is the way people communicate now because it's snail mail. It's really no longer in play.
Prevalent.
And then stamps damn near $1, so people can't really afford snail mail.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So this is how we communicate. This is how we order our commissary. This is how we put in grievances, et cetera, et cetera. You're using a tablet.
Okay.
But when they get mad, they cut the Wi-Fi, you have no access to it. So now you got all these men in units with these conditions I just described, frustrated. And they take it out on each other or the COs. Again, the administration contributes to the chaos in these prisons.
Absolutely.
And then they use the chaos to try to justify stricter, you know what I'm saying, restrictions and penalties. So it's self-reinforcing. And the more they enforce stricter penalties and policies, the more chaos ensues.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You just fanning the flames, and you're using the flame to justify some more shit to fan the flame.
Yeah.
This, and you sending these dudes home to this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're sending these dudes home to this. So if these dudes in prison don't have the support that somebody like myself had, I had a great support system, right? If you don't have that kind of support, right, then you're not sitting here focusing on getting back to your family, being the best version of you, so you get out here and be a contributor, as well as expose what's going on in here, be an advocate for this. Nah, you looking at this shit like, I'm getting my lick back. I'm finna get even with somebody.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's normal. Well,
I mean,
that's
I can't say it's normal, but I'm saying it's understandable when you see what some of these dudes are having to endure.
Yeah.
For however long they're enduring it.
Absolutely.
Right? If they don't just flat out lose their mind. See, people, even if the support system isn't extensive, there's somebody that gives a damn about these dudes in here. They might not have a voice to you know what I'm saying, to show the administration that they care about these dudes enough so that the administration stops whatever they're doing to them. But they still care. So when these dudes in prison go through this, they family, they friends, they hurt by this shit too. You know what I'm saying? They affected too. And they might not know how to go about challenging the system. They might not have the funds or the network or the connections to bring about an investigation.
Right.
So it takes the lawsuits like the one that Anthony Parrish prevailed in settling for, and the 30 other prisoners, you know what I'm saying, that brings attention to this. Keep in mind, this is something that was going on when I was there. They just not settled this 6 years later.
Yep.
So for 6 years, people have been enduring these conditions. What kind of damage and trauma has that caused?
It's already done.
You know
it's already done. You're absolutely right.
Some of these dudes already then went home, reoffended, maybe harmed themselves. Like you don't know what type of reverberations have been put in play out of trauma you're creating. But you don't care because if you're looking at it like some of these comments, shit, them dudes been convicted and it shouldn't be a pleasant place. But ask yourself,
is
would
it
you
torture?
want to be in that?
Exactly. It's a difference between being tortured and being
rehabilitated, or even being, listen, punishing somebody, period, when you take them off the street.
That's what I'm saying.
When
Either
you make
punished or
you already punishing them.
Right.
So you've already removed them from society, from their family, from the things they enjoyed, whether it was considered negative or maybe it was something you didn't value, whatever, it was something they value. You remove them from that, and you put them in here where they have to do whatever the guards say they have to do, right? Not saying you should do it, because it's some of the shit they trying to force you to do is not right. I wasn't doing it, but you have a rigid guideline that you have to adhere to, or you are penalized for it. So you've already punished them, and some of us had to do it for years, decades, or some of my guys never got life, right? So this is what they have to endure for that incarceration period, however long it lasts.
I have two questions for you. First, I would like you to comment about what Ben King just said.
What did he say?
Do you both believe our mothers trained us for SEG, putting us on punishment, standing in the corner, learning how to deal with isolation early, even in the juvenile facilities, is solitary?
Well, that's two separate things. The juvenile facility and your mother's discipline, separate.
You think so?
But I don't think, if she did prepare you for a life of isolation in an institution, it definitely wasn't intentional, right? My mother used to do things or remove things that she know I like to do. See, I dealt with physicality and punishments, right? I wasn't one of them kids like they are now that wanted to stay in the house. I don't want to be in the house. I don't want to play no game. I want to get out here, rip and run, and get dirty, and kick it with my guys, right? Annie Mae knew that. So what she gonna do? She gonna spank that ass first. You got that coming, and you can't go outside, right?
Damn.
Yeah,
Annie Mae sound like she was harsh.
Spank that ass, and you're not going outside, right? So that's what it was. I'm not sure I can say she prepared me for that, because when I got to juvie and had to do what they call ISO, which is SEG, isolation, ISO, I had to figure that out on my own. Like, I didn't have no experiences to harken back on that I could, go through my mental reservoir, like, oh, I know how to do this because of that. Like, it wasn't the same as sitting in my room with a TV and a bed and the kitchen downstairs. Like, it wasn't the same, bro.
Yeah,
but I understand where you're kind of going with it.
Yeah.
But the juvie facilities definitely prepare you for adult institutions, right? That's a part of the pipeline,
that
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was in the juvie facility, and the SEG unit in Lake County was borderline worse than the SEG units I did at Michigan City for a while. Mm-hmm. I was in a cell with no light, kind of like the cell they had Anthony Parrish in at the video shows. No light. My window was cracked, so in the wintertime, all the cold air would come in. I didn't have a bed frame. I had a bed mat that I put on the floor. There were roaches and ants. I didn't have running water. They would give me a flush every 4 hours, right? This is Lake County Juvenile Facility back in 96, 97.
A juvenile facility?
Yeah, this is what was going on, right? And I did that for months. And I'm not saying I wasn't problematic in that facility, right?
Right, understood.
I was problematic, but I didn't deserve that. You know what I'm saying?
That's child abuse.
It's all type of abuse. And then I was waived to adult court, which I was already prepared for the conditions, because I had spent those months in that. Like, what can be worse than that is what I thought. So when I started going to SEG as an adult, even though I was still a teenager, I was already prepped for it. Like, because it wasn't as bad as what I had went through in the LCJC.
That makes sense. That makes
sense. What I'm saying? So, but yeah.
So I would like to answer that part, since he asked both of us.
Yeah.
I never got put in a corner because I was the good girl. No, But when I got punished, my grandma whooped me. I don't know nothing about standing in no corner or nothing like that. And honestly, I want to bring this up. If you were a child and you were put in the conditions that all of you have in the SHU, that again, that's the pipeline for them to be there. Like they're going to have emotional problems, sensory problems. They're no love. Or they're dead, or they killed themselves, or you know what I'm saying? So and that's my opinion. So the other I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The other question I wanted to ask you was, do you think that this lawsuit changed anything?
No. Right? Because this is kind of like, so before I was released, actually before I left Miami, a lawsuit, a Wabash Valley SHU unit was had and settled, where prisoners were rewarded for having been denied meaningful reviews to get off the SHU. Right, I was getting those rubber stamp denials as well, right? I was getting those rubber stamp denials as well, and go ahead, getting them as well, and ultimately, the courts determined that the administration was not following policy and procedure by affording prisoners meaningful reviews to determine if they were fit to be released from SEG. See what I'm saying? The administration cutting corners at every turn, man. They cutting corners. And in the process of cutting these corners, it's the prisoners who are enduring the harm. So with that SHU lawsuit, you had dudes on them units 5, 6, 7 years. I spent years on the SHU. I didn't get in the lawsuit because I had waited too long to pursue it. Right? It's a 2-year statute of limitations from the time the decision was rendered. And I filed too late. But in this lawsuit at Miami, it's along the same lines. Like because nobody's really being punished for criminal activity, because if that's what this shit is, they're able to get away with it, pay some money, taxpayer money, and keep on moving at business as usual. This stuff at Miami requires deep investigation, man. You talking about people losing their lives who weren't sentenced to death, right? If we kill somebody or are responsible for killing somebody, you spending decades in the joint, you hitting that death chamber, or you might end up with life, depending on the circumstances. But the administration gets to get away with it because the administration is tied into a whole bunch of other administrations, and then you start playing the politics. But you're responsible for people losing their lives. I'm talking about the DOC.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're responsible for it. And that's just the way it was. As far as making changes, it might be some policy changes, right? They might make some policy changes that's supposed to benefit the prisoners. What they actually implement is something different.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm. What's on the books and what's being actualized ain't always the same.
Right.
And then it becomes, well, how do you challenge them not following the policy? Well, you see, it just took 5, 6 years for this lawsuit to come to fruition, right?
Right.
So that's how it goes. It takes 4, 5, 6 years. And they know in the process, people end up being released, giving up. You see what I'm saying? You become deterred in the pursuance of this lawsuit or this challenging, and you give up on it. Or some people get released and they give up on it altogether, just like, shit, I'm done with it.
Yeah. And
you leave the people in there, the prisoners who's still in there, to have to deal with this shit, who may not know how to challenge it.
Yeah.
It's more the same, bro.
That's
it's more the same. And
that's deep. Again, me being green,
You definitely green.
I'm about tired of you talking about me like that. But
You definitely green.
anyways, how does I want to go back to you are different than a whole lot of people.
I'm
I
exceptional.
think.
I'm exceptional.
No, wait a minute. I'm gonna say this because you went to juvie how many times?
I only got one juvenile. Actually, I ain't got no juvenile convictions, but I've been to juvie a few times.
Okay.
Yeah,
Which again was a pipeline to prison. Do you feel that?
I do. I feel like a whole lot in our communities are pipelines to prisons, like based off how they resolve the juvenile issues for people that look like us, right? I went to high school in Minnesota. Those schools were majority European, white people, and I was seeing stuff up there that was not the same as when I was going to high school in Gary, right? Stuff in Gary was leading these young dudes going to juvenile detention center, being put on bracelets, house arrest, you know what I'm saying, probation, all type of stuff, fist fights, you know what I'm saying, whatever.
At the school?
No, I'm saying like it would lead to.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
The juvenile justice center being involved, and I was seeing these same fights up here at these little suburban schools, and it wouldn't result in that. It wasn't resulting in people going to Hennepin County Juvenile Detention Center or you know what I'm saying, whatever the county was in Minnesota I was in at the time. They weren't going to the juvenile center at all. You know what I'm saying? But for us, we end up in a system. And then you end up in that system, it'd be hard to get out of it. So now they got you on the bracelet. They want to be strict with you. All it takes is one or two things, and they're gonna revoke that. So now you in the juvenile center doing time. So you go from that to seeing your friends in here, and you start to think that it's not so bad. I'm just saying,
right.
Your acquaintances in here. As you see your acquaintances in here, you know, you kind of reinforce the mindset that put you there.
Yep.
Because you're not really in here learning how to change your values. You in here learning how to be the same dude you was. You know what I'm saying? A little roughneck. And before you know it, you done something a bit more serious. Yeah. And now you got to stay here a little longer, maybe graduate to the Indiana Boys School, which is Department of Correction. And from there, you got a DOC.
That's different.
Yeah. Okay. Once you get that DOC number, then it becomes like, well, shit, you in the system for real now. So now everything is going to be where you got a history. So anything you do will increase your penalization because you have a history now. You see what I'm saying? You got a background. Go ahead.
So juvie and the boys' school, totally different. Boys' school is kind of like the kindergarten to the prison.
Kindergarten? No. So
I'm just making that as an analogy.
Well, no, but so juvenile center is till you 18, right? Unless you commit a crime that would be an adult act if you were an adult, and then they can waive you, like what they waived me for, right? And in Indiana, that's age 10 to 18.
Damn.
Yeah. So
10 to 18.
And the Indiana Boys School is where they send you when they assume that you are borderline incorrigible, meaning that you are hardened and you need to be in institutional settings, right?
Wow.
So they want to keep you in a juvenile setting. They want to put you in a more rigid institutional setting, and they'll graduate you to the Indiana Boys School, which is Department of Correction. Then from there, it's just a matter of time before, man, unless you get your shit together before you hit the prison system. You know what I'm saying? And that's how the pipeline working. It's starting in school. In schools, if you are disruptive.
No, it starts at home.
It started in school.
You think so?
I'm saying the school to prison pipeline is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, home too.
In school is because if you are disruptive as a kid, they start flagging you. They start putting you in these classes, behavioral classes.
Right.
So now you have a documented history of being a behavioral problem.
Mm-hmm.
From there, it makes it easier for them to put you in the juvenile injustice system.
Right.
From there, it makes it easier to graduate you to the Department of Correction boys school, to waive as an adult. And then you have a documented background. So when you do catch a petty offense, even though it's an offense and you might be guilty of it, they're going to graduate your ass to prison. And now now you in and out. It becomes a revolving door if you're not getting the treatment or the help you need. But they're not giving you treatment or help in here. You got to seek it yourself.
Okay, that was what I was going to ask. What treatment are you getting? Okay.
You have to find it yourself, or you have to run into some elders, or you have to have a great support system that can kind of, encourage you, guide you back to the straight path, the golden path. You see what I'm saying? Otherwise, you just gonna keep going down the path thinking you got all the answers, and you're gonna become hardened. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be hardened as hell, and you're not gonna care about going in and out of prison.
Right. Right.
Because you feel like I'm built for this, right? I didn't heard that said. I remember saying it as a kid until I grew up and started thinking about what that meant. I'm built for this. Like I'm built to be somebody's prisoner.
Right.
I'm built to be a test subject in an institution, dehumanized and degraded, confined and experimented on, because that's what they do. They testing these isolation theories on us. They testing medications on us. They testing all type of shit on us in these settings.
Roll that back. I must have missed that. I misinterpreted it. What did you just say? They're testing what?
So when you start talking about, it's a book I read called Medical Apartheid. Write that down. That's that.
Yes, sir.
Medical apartheid, right? And in that book, they break down how Holman Prison in Philadelphia, the government was using these state prisoners as test subjects, right? And paying them commissary money in order to endure the effects of certain chemical experiments, medicinal experiments, et cetera, right?
And that's still going on. Wow.
Right. Now, this is probably maybe a generation or two ago, but this is the type of stuff that goes on. So now they might not be doing it in that fashion. I'm talking about the experimentation with when you putting people in settings where you are intentionally creating sensory overload and deprivation, right? Absolutely. This stuff is intentional. Yeah. And you see the results of it, and now you can determine how to use this to get the results you want when you're dealing with, social settings, beat people. This is what's going on. So when I read that lawsuit that was going on in Miami, and I was just telling you about the lawsuit that went on at Wabash in the shoe, they similar, right? Even though they probably came to a different conclusion, they were similar lawsuits. You're dealing with a system that don't follow their own rules and that will treat you any way they can get away with until you challenge it and make them change. How many people had a wherewithal to challenge them until a determination is made? Because as you see, it's going to take years. You know what I'm saying? If the ACLU don't get involved most times, you know what I'm saying? It takes a savvy prisoner who's been in the law library to figure out how to go through the courts and file these petitions and put this argument together and be able to counter argue what the DOC is gonna, how the attorney general fight on their behalf to challenge you with. And that's how it's gonna go. Most people get discouraged and they give up.
Yeah, agreed.
Most people don't have the time to put in and commit to that. And sometimes the DOC will interrupt or interfere your lawsuit by transferring you and removing you from your legal work. Been there, done that, have seen it happen. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I've seen many dudes in the middle of lawsuits get transferred, right? And get detached from their legal work, their paperwork.
How does that? I don't
Easy.
understand that. If I'm at 16th Street and I move to 20th Street, I'm still going to have that same legal binding as I did on 16th.
I'm not talking about the binding. I'm talking about your legal work, your physical paperwork.
Oh, the paperwork.
Your
Oh,
legal work, your paperwork, the stuff that your
oh my
petition,
goodness.
you know what I'm saying? Your petitions, your briefs, your motions. They will remove that from you and put you somewhere else. And then you had deadlines and timelines where you have to file certain materials, but you can't because you know how it is. So now you have to file for extensions of time in hopes that you get your material back so that you can do what you're trying to do. They are disrupting, discouraging, deterring prisoners from filing these motions. And this is illegal. But it's about proving it. You see what I'm saying? Because if they can argue that they transferred you for the safety and security of the facility.
If you bad like you
goes on.
I'm sorry, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Sorry. I shouldn't be playing like that. I got so many questions just from that little bit that you said, and it's 8:30. So are you going to tell me to get off and just put my questions in the comments?
I mean, we could rock out a few more minutes, you know.
Okay.
I'm a working man too, so I got to be up early in the morning too.
I know you.
But to get this out, because I got brothers in there enduring this, and I endured it. Yeah, we on here. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
And I do want to say that this part of incarceration and getting out is very important to me now. Now that Kwame is gone, I think he could have. It's some stuff that I can do for him now that he's gone. But the question that I wanted to ask you was, if a person does not have support, where do they get the information to file these not appeals, but
these civil suits, these lawsuits and stuff?
Not the civil suits, but if they're in SEG for something they don't think they should be in SEG for.
That's
like if somebody, like if I come and hit you,
that's a different issue. Like that's not really a prison condition issue. That's an individual issue pertaining to a conduct report that you may or may not have, right? So you can file a conduct appeal. You can grieve it. The grievance process is a joke though, but you can grieve it. The conduct report appeal is a joke too, basically, because they gonna rubber stamp it and make you
right.
You can have an issue dead to the wood. They gonna find you guilty on the Senate, make you go downstate. Downstate sometimes will do the right thing, but oftentimes they are gonna make you go to the federal court system and file a habeas corpus to challenge your Department of Correction conduct conviction. But only way you can do that is if you lost what they call I forgot what it's called, but you have to lose some good time and spend a certain amount of time in SEG. You see what I'm saying? You have to lose some prison time or spend X amount of time in SEG in order to be eligible to go to the federal courts. So if you don't lose that, then the conviction gonna stick even if you didn't do it. They're seeing that too many times.
And that's my question. Who tells that person that has no support? Who tells them that? I know the guard's not telling them. Is it in people?
So in prison we support each other. You know what I'm saying?
That's
the code. Now I don't get into all that, you know, convict inmate shit that was going on when I first got to prison, because at the end of the day, like, you still categorizing yourself as something and I'm held against my will. I don't want to be here, so I'm a prisoner. All that convict inmate shit, yeah, you know, it's a standard to live in, period. But as prisoners, you gotta support the other prisoner in the face of the system, right? Because the system is what y'all up against together. You might not like him. Like I done been into it with you know what I'm saying, Aryans, Saxonites, whatever. And we could have full-blown beef. But when it came to the guards against us, and this is early in my prison bit, we gonna put this shit on hold. Right?
I love that.
We gonna put this shit on hold, and we gonna deal with them. We gonna demonstrate together. That means flood, kick on doors, fight, whatever it takes. We gonna fight together against them. Now, we gonna pick this shit back up once this over with.
Right.
But right now, it's not about us. It's about us challenging them so they don't. Because if they stand on you, then they gonna stand on me. And if I'm okay with them standing on you because I don't like you personally, then you reinforcing some bullshit, and they gonna always be able to do that. So you can't approach it like that. You gotta be, if there's somebody in there that need to know how to file a grievance, trust me, it's a prisoner in there that knows. You know what I'm saying? File a civil suit. It's a prisoner in there that knows. If somebody need an address or a phone number to a contact, it's a way to get that. Prisoners know how to access this type of information, and we share that with each other. You know what I'm saying? So that's not a problem. The problem is once these conditions become known, how many of these dudes gonna stand up and be willing to sacrifice to challenge it? Because it's gonna come with some blowback.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? The system, DOC ain't supposed to retaliate, but they do.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So we could be in here like, yeah, Katrina, we gonna stand on this. We ain't going in ourselves, right? We refusing to go in. We hunger striking. We whatever. How many people gonna be able to hold that line?
Right.
See, that's where the unity got to come in at, and that comes with the leadership within the prisoners themselves, being able to negotiate these issues, right? Being able to socialize across tribes, across color line.
Yes.
This is where the leadership comes into play. But the DOC knows this too,
right?
So they gonna try to disrupt that, and they gonna try to remove leadership and put them in certain places where they're not accessible. You understand me? Like this. So it's one big. It's sad to say it's one big game, but that's kind of what it is, and it's a life or death game. You know what I'm saying? So us on here, we could provide the information.
Right.
These brothers in here need support. Sisters going through it too, but I just know about the issues with the men because I just spent 3/4 of my life in prison.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I know they need the support, man. They need people to understand what they're going through in there, so that the eyes can be on the DOC, and the DOC can do what they're supposed to be doing and not what they want to be doing.
Agreed.
Follow your own rules.
I love the way you just said we can put all of our differences aside and come together to fight. And that's what it is out here. That's what it is out here. A lot of people, white racist, but they poor and they know they have a problem. Put that stuff aside and let's come together and let's fight it together. I
agree.
I hate to say that's a good prison.
No, but that wasn't formed in prison.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That wasn't formed in prison. Like that's something you saw. You saw Dr. King them doing that. You know what I'm saying? Reaching out across lines for common goals.
Right. You know, Rainbow Coalition. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's not something that like in prison. It's just different.
But that was back in the day. I don't see any well, anyways. Second question.
Go ahead.
First, explain what the ACLU is for those that don't know.
Oh, that's the American Civil Liberties Union. They do a lot of the legal work and groundwork and the challenging on like systemic bogusness, right? So if you got at Pendleton, I think they had something Legionnaire's disease in their water at Pendleton Correctional Facility, right? And to challenge it, prisoners can challenge it individually, and but maybe not be successful because if they don't have the resources, the time, or the experience that somebody like the ACLU does. ACLU been doing this for generations. You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
They can come in, see the problem, know how to argue it, know how to twist the right screws to get the DOC to respond the way they need favorably, and squeeze money out their ass as well, right? And expose it, right? But the ACLU is there. They help the prisoners. They gonna do all the legal work when you got a legitimate issue.
How do people get in touch with the ACLU that's in prison?
I mean, you could Google them.
I keep forgetting there's iPads and stuff.
Wait. In prison, you can't Google them. You can go to the law library and find it though. Right?
Oh wow.
Yeah, not Google. I was tripping, but you can go to law. Maybe because I was Googling shit. But
that, you know what? Stop. You're gonna get people in trouble. Last question that I have.
I'm free. You see?
Yes. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. You're right. Let's talk about that lawsuit again.
Which one?
Why aren't other prisons doing this across the country? And do you think that they should? And if they should, how do they get that backing?
Doing what? And what you mean?
Lawsuit, like, so is this lawsuit for everybody across the country?
No. So
that's what I'm asking, because we know the prison system is bad across the country. So we need people that's in prison to do the same thing, so it can be an actual national problem and not just a state problem.
Well, it is a national problem, but states have states' rights. So each state, trust me, it's a lawsuit going on in most facilities in every state in this country, based off the same issues. All you got to do is if you could get access to LexisNexis or Westlaw, you can look up these case sites and you will see that the suits that's going in about the Department of Correction they probably the majority of the lawsuits in the courts.
Oh wow.
Right? Yeah, the conditions in prisons across the country Indiana is not exceptional. It's bad everywhere. And prisoners are enduring it the same way, and they challenging it the same way. You know what I'm saying? We just know about this one because Anthony Parrish people published this information.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this is going on, and every year, hell, damn near every month, there's a lawsuit going in. And man, just put in Westville and put in like federal civil cases. Man, you will see all type of shit. That's one prison. It's 20-some prisons in Indiana. 27, 28 prisons. Right. County jails going through the same thing.
Say that again.
The county jails are dealing with the same lawsuits.
Right? Absolutely.
Because this shit is flawed. So with that being said, like, it's not just Indiana, it's everywhere from Maine to California to Alaska to Florida.
What can we do as the public to help with this torture for everybody across the country, not just in Indiana, but whoever is listening? What do you think we can do to help?
What we doing? Provide information, provide awareness, bring a different perspective. You know, so I got for prison stuff, I got a perspective that most people not gonna have.
Right.
I got an understanding that most people not gonna understand.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I got the insight and the experience to be able to clarify it so that it can be understandable, even if you can't like internalize it the way I had to endure it. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. I can make you understand it, so we can provide the information and continue to bring awareness to it. Just highlight it. This ain't something that's gonna go away, so we're gonna continue to have to revisit prison conditions and issues. It's not a one, you know what I'm saying, a one episode
right.
You can't do that. You got to continue to bring awareness to it and light to it. And every time a situation arises, like, bring some attention to it.
Yeah.
Like,
So people that don't have a platform, what can they do? And I'm saying this because this is what's going through my mind. We need to talk about it. Talk about it. Don't be scared to talk about it. Even if you have a person that's not in prison, you see the conditions that people are going through. And I'm talking to the public. Talk about it. Oh, I saw this podcast and, this guy was in prison for decades and he said this and this and this. Talk about it.
I think so. Simply put, man, is like this. What type of people do you want return into your community?
Right.
Right.
There you go.
That's the simplest way I could put it. What type of people do you want return into your community?
Absolutely.
And then you think about what needs to be happening for them to return that way. Right. Mm-hmm. If you want people to come back to the communities after spending X amount of years in institutions with a certain mindset, with a certain drive, with a certain responsibility and accountability, a feeling for that, then they shouldn't be enduring the type of stuff that this lawsuit is highlighting. So, like, that's the mindset civilians, taxpayers need to be having. Like, that's the mindset, and I'm gonna leave it there.
I'm sorry. I got so many questions. Oh, no. I know. It's 8:45. We've been on here for, we only been on here for an hour and 15 minutes. Damn.
We gonna revisit this anyway. This ain't something that's going.
Okay, good. Because I don't know how to word this last question, but yeah, I like this. I like that we've come back around to talk about it. And you have an experience and I have an experience, but our experiences are different.
Yeah.
Because I'm the person that my husband came home to and explained all this stuff to me. Right. And you lived it. So
with your
that's why I think I'm asking a lot of questions for those that don't have anybody in prison, hasn't had anybody in prison, hasn't been to prison, just so they can understand.
They just seen enough prison movies to kind of have an idea.
Yeah, all that movie stuff ain't even, you know what I'm saying? Like, to sit there and have pillow talk with your significant other, asking, did you hear that? Did you see that? And you thinking, this nigga crazy. But in reality, once you sit there and think about it, he's been in the shoe by himself for so long. I'm just happy that you can even talk to me about it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm crazy in my own way. So yeah.
All of us got a little crazy in us.
Whatever.
Anyways.
Yeah. On that note.
Yes.
Listen. Appreciate the show, man. I hope we share some relevant and valid information and brought some insight to what's going on in these institutions, specifically Miami's and Westville's, but with emphasis on Miami because that's where the lawsuit was just settled, and we got video footage of the kind of conditions that they had brothers living in, man, for however long they had them living in it, like, and just try to imagine if that was you, or if that was somebody you loved or cared about. So,
absolutely.
Absolutely. On that note, Katrina.
Nope. Okay. Peace and love. What are we going to talk about? The next show is going to be about what?
We figure it out off air. But
right now, we talked about it.
But right now, my eyes get low. Don't you see my eyes?
Bye.
Yeah. Peace and love, y'all. Assalamu alaikum to the sunnah.
Peace and love.
To the man and sister.